Breaking news exclusively from Blue Eye Media. Now here's Harry J. Sisson with the latest updates.
All right, folks. Well, Donald Trump's address to the nation tonight was a complete and total disaster, and there's really no other way to describe it. And I know you're probably so shocked to hear that at home tonight, but that's what we just watched. He sounded like a crazy, demented lunatic up there, just lying and rambling about conspiracy theories and spewing utter nonsense. The incoherence in this speech was mind-blowing. So I want to show you just a couple of clips from it. I will not play the entire thing. I don't want to give you a headache. But before I do that, I do want to give you my full thoughts on what we just watched. That speech, to me, proves that Donald Trump is panicking. He spoke about the economy. He spoke about immigrants. I mean, that was his main topic. And it felt like he had a list of buzzwords that he was trying to run through. He did the usual stuff. He blamed Joe Biden for everything. He said the word Democrats maybe a million times. He talked about Somalians. He scapegoated immigrants. He used every single group he has consistently targeted or any individual he has targeted to basically blame them for his failures. If you go to the grocery store right now, prices are up. If you try to buy a house, it's impossible. Prices are up. Everything is more expensive. And in this speech, Donald Trump played a lot of defense. He's saying it's this person's fault, it's this person's fault. He knows the polling is bad. He knows the winds are not blowing in his direction. He knows the politics of it all is really, really terrible for him right now. So this speech, in my view, and we're going to get into these clips in just a moment, this speech, in my view, was Donald Trump trying to play some defense and trying to reset the narrative, right the ship, but it completely backfired, and he looks even more insane than he did yesterday or earlier today, if you can even believe it. But look, I just wanted to give you those thoughts. Now, let's get into some of these clips. The first one I want to start with is the very first words that came out of his mouth, and you can see what I mean. Just watch.
11 months ago, I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it. When I took office, inflation was the worst in 48 years, and some would say in the history of our country, which caused prices to be higher than ever before, making life unaffordable for millions and millions of Americans.
I mean, how do you fit so much misinformation in one sentence? That clip was 21 seconds. How did he do that? It's remarkable at the level this guy lies. But you heard it. The first thing he said was to blame Joe Biden. He said, 11 months ago, I came in, I inherited a disaster. Really? Because the economy was doing a hell of a lot better then than it is now. Inflation was coming down, prices were coming down, GDP was going up, unemployment was coming down. It was lower than it is right now. Unemployment right now under Donald Trump is higher. Joe Biden was far better on all of these topics. He was adding more jobs per month. He was building a stronger economy. We had the best recovery from COVID out of all of the G7 countries, arguably the best recovery in the world. And Donald Trump comes in here and says, well, I inherited a disaster. No, he's put us into a disaster with his tariffs, with his economic policy that is ruining things for everyday Americans. Let's go on to another clip where on that very same topic, he lies that he's bringing down prices.
Bringing those high prices down and bringing them down very fast. Let's look at the
I wanted to just quickly insert this quick clip, this 6-second clip, because I want to do a poll at home. Comment down below if you think that prices are going down, or if when you go to the grocery store right now, when you take your family out to dinner, as you're buying holiday presents for your family, do you feel like your wallet's getting thin? Do you think like things are affordable? Do you think grocery prices are going down? Because the data from any agency says the exact opposite. But Donald Trump got up there tonight and lied to our faces. I'm not saying that because I expect anything less from Donald Trump, but I expect more from the office of the presidency. It is a slap in the face when he gets up there and basically tells us to not believe our own eyes. Look, I can speak from experience. I'm a 23-year-old Gen Zer. I want to start a life. I want to achieve the American dream that was promised to me by people like Donald Trump, the politicians out there like Donald Trump, these Republicans who give tax breaks to billionaires. I want that. Everybody wants that for their family, their loved ones, their friends. It's impossible. It's impossible. So when he gets up there and says, I'm bringing down these prices at a record pace, he's full of crap. Obviously. I mean, we know that about Donald Trump. Let's move on to another one where I just want you to just listen to this clip. he's not talking about anything in particular. He's just rambling, but it's total incoherence. And Aaron Rupar describes it accurately, saying, I'm not sure that Trump's strategy of playing the deranged MAGA hits on primetime is going to work out well for him. Just watch this.
In women's sports, transgender for everybody, crime at record levels with law enforcement, and words such as that just absolutely forbidden. We had the worst trade deals ever made, and our country was laughed at from all over the world. But they're not laughing anymore. Over the past 11 months, we have brought more positive change to Washington than any administration in American history. There's never been anything like it, and I think most would agree. I was elected in a landslide, winning the popular vote and all 7 swing states and everything else.
I mean, that was insane. As I said at the beginning of the video, it felt like he had a list of buzzwords. So he started talking about men and women's sports. He started talking about immigrants. He started talking about the whole 9 yards in that 42-second clip. All of it he tried to fit in there. And that law enforcement was apparently, that word was banned in Biden's America. This guy is delusional. He is delusional. His decline, his melting of the brain is accelerating. It seems like, with the way he gave the speech and what he was talking about tonight. There were a number of times where it felt like he was going off script, but all of what he just said is false, obviously. That law enforcement as a word was banned, total nonsense. I mean, he's offering himself as the solution to every problem in the world, but he's in office right now. The Republicans have the Senate, they have the House of Representatives, they have the Supreme Court and all these government agencies, and nothing is changing for the better. Matter of fact, it's getting worse. And the American people feel that way as too. The data is clear on this. The final clip I want to show you is, again, just an outrageous claim from Donald Trump that he's cutting drug prices, healthcare prices, by 600%, which is not mathematically possible. Watch.
I negotiated directly with the drug companies and foreign nations, which were taking advantage of our country for many decades, to slash prices on drugs and pharmaceuticals by as much as 400, 500, and even 600%. In other words, your drug costs will be plummeting downward, and I used the threat of tariffs.
Yeah, so this is the part of the speech where he started really screaming into the microphone and speaking incredibly quickly. For some reason, in the middle of the speech, he just switched gears and was like, you know what? Actually, I want to stumble over my words more. And I want to speak far faster than I'm already speaking. And I just want to sound even more crazy. I don't know what changed, but you can see it in that clip. He just started screaming into the microphone. But I feel like I don't have to say this. You folks at home know this already, but I will for the MAGAs who might be watching. You cannot cut something by 600%. I feel like I'm in, math class again in middle school, elementary school, even not middle school, elementary school, where how do you even respond to something like this? How do you even talk to MAGA Republicans who actually believe that you can cut a price of something, anything, by more than 100%? You'd think it's basic math, but the president of the United States doesn't understand it. Look, a disaster speech, and I don't want to play any more clips of Donald Trump. Quite frankly, I don't think you want to hear him. I don't want to hear him either. That was awful. That was awful, and I think this is going to backfire very badly for Donald Trump. This will not change course. This will not make people feel better about his decline or his awful presidency. It'll certainly make people feel worse. So look, subscribe down below. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed. Of course, comment. Let me know what you thought about his speech and what you think about this story. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.
Follow Blue Eye Media for exclusive insights and breaking news sources from global-friendly outlets that you'll never get from the mainstream cable TV and antenna radio or satellite outlets. Learn how to play the flute of the world and learn the real facts.